Thank you all for coming. What a pleasure and a privilege to spend the evening thinking about and reading and writing poetry, particularly in this venue, which is one of the long-standing and valuable venues for poetry in the state because of Scott. He's well-deserving of any kind of awards or acclaim or recognition that he gets. I'm going to read from the last two books that have come out. First, I'm just going to read a couple, 3 poems from Angels, Thieves, and Winemakers. I had the chance, the publisher wanted to do a second edition, so I had the chance to go back. And I found when I went back, I could barely stand to look at the book that I had published several years before. So I pulled out a bunch of poems that I thought were weak, and I rewrote about 90% of the poems, and I rearranged it, and I wanted to go to everybody who had bought it and buy their copy back and destroy them. But I didn't. Instead, I came out with a new edition. This poem is called Aging. To speak of a wine's future is to speak of our own desires. How we hope as we age that we'll become more harmonious, less acidic, that our tannins will mellow. We recognize right now we have a burst of flavor, an energy, a liveliness, but also a harshness, which later may soften into a more balanced, more approachable, easier to appreciate. Hold on to us. We believe we'll get better. What I love about wine, besides drinking, is I love the language of wine. When you talk to winemakers, the evaporation in the barrels is called the angel's share. And there's all this wonderful jargon in wine. And they use a tool called a thief to pull wine from the cask. So this poem is called Thieves. When winemakers use the thief, a long pipette to withdraw liquid from a cask or carboy, it looks as if they're performing exploratory surgery to determine the state of what's inside. But consider the name of the tool. Consider how you would stop and look through the classroom window at your child's daycare and school. Consider the expressions of painters after they've sold canvases they've worked on for months, or of chefs in kitchens after midnight. What we make is not ours. Someday our rooms will be empty. Love makes thieves of us all. And I'll read one more. This is called When Will These Three? In the hotel bar, 3 women sip wine, each tailored, coiffed, and manicured, each clearly in an ongoing relationship with a dentist. They may be perfectly nice, but suddenly I want to be drinking beer from a red plastic cup, standing by a keg and listening to Mary and Julie and Laura explain what a dumbass I am for something I've said or done recently, all of us lit by more than the pallets burning nearby, maybe by youth, maybe by hope, or maybe, although I didn't recognize it then, by love that didn't involve scrabbling in a back seat. It's an easy fortune to tell. There are people in your past who one day you will long for with such intensity that it will make bartenders ask if you're okay, and women become concerned enough about you to move their glasses to a different table.